The Igbos are more or less the type of people whose desire is mainly to dominate everybody. If they go to a village, to a town, they want to monopolize everything in that area. If you put them in a labor camp as a laborer, within a year they will try to emerge as headman of that camp.
Those words from the former northern statesman Alhaji Ahmadu Bello encapsulates the state of Nigeria today, one that has hindered her optimal progress and development. Fear that is unfounded. Hello and welcome to our channel. We greet you wherever you are in Africa and around the world. May the gods of our land be with you in whatever you are doing. Yes, we opened our lines with how degenerative fear can be. Ahmadu Bello and his fear of the Igboman. Fear of the Igboman being the dominator, overly ambitious and nationalistic. Fear of working hard to earn a living, a decent living for that matter. Fear the British saw and picked upon to sacrifice the people they saw as their greatest competitors in the affairs of Nigeria and therefore must be sidelined or extinguished, the Igbos. It is this fear that gave birth to the massacre of thousands of Igbo men, women and children and destruction of their properties and life earnings in northern Nigeria after they were blamed for a military coup that was undertaken to release a Yoruba chieftain from prison in Port Harcourt and make him president. A coup that was eventually foiled by an erudite Igbo army chief who went ahead to release the chieftain from prison, only for him to turn against the same people that gave him freedom and orchestrated massive hunger that killed millions of the same innocent people who freed him. It is the fear that saw to the 3-year genocide against the same people under the guise of a war that was forced upon them after the Nigerian military junta reneged on an earlier agreement signed in Aburi and turned their armory against the people with limited resources who were unprepared to mount any genuine defense. It is this fear that has left the country in the quagmire it is in today, because the lazy, greedy leaders, instead of recognizing the essence of hard work and genuine nation building, which are the hallmark and ingenuities of Igbo, have continued to sideline Igbo from the scheme of the country's leadership 65 years after independence and 57 years after the end of a war. Before we be accused of ethnic bias, let's give those that may not know a brief outline of the reasons for their fear. The Igbo tribe is one of the oldest and most progressive in Nigeria. They are one of the richest tribes in Africa per capita, fairly educated, well-traveled, and extremely industrious. With an amazing sense of industry, Igbo is at the forefront of business and industrial revolution in Nigeria, and it started well before the country was amalgamated in 1914. Following amalgamation, the Igbos began to move to other parts of the country to establish businesses and make a living, and it is their level of success and business drive that gave rise to the condemnation instead of praise due to fear. Despite their business sense and drive, they were also at the forefront of the drive for Nigeria's independence, just like they were during the quest for amalgamation in 1914.
An amalgamation of 19?
Following independence, their efforts, uniqueness, gained traction when Nnamdi Azikiwe became the first president of Nigeria, even though the British decided to give executive powers to the Prime Minister, who was from the north, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, but that was not enough. The internal wranglings and power struggles informed the coup, whose aftermath led to the massacre of thousands of Ndibo in Kano, and then the millions that perished during the so-called civil war that happened for reasons that were later proven and established to be false and unfounded. Apart from the genocide, Ndibo had their wealth and investments taken away when it ended. But here they are today, the most significant group in the country who are always in the eye of a storm. They have refused to allow them the leadership of a country despite being one of the three major tribes, two of whom have constantly led the country and continue to fail. Lately, the words of two elderly statesmen, one was the military leader and architect of a war, and the other a former military head of state, have lent credence that the Nigerian state owes the Igbo people for their crimes against them. In other countries, a Truth and Reconciliation Commission will be put together to resolve differences and forge a way forward in the interest of peace and nation building, following their revelations. In Nigeria, however, the continued marginalization and bigotry against Ndibo has become a standard norm and practice that no one wants to talk about. In a country where an aspirant presidential candidate tells a more popular competitor that he can only be good for a vice presidential ticket, despite his genuine qualities because of his tribe, is heartbreaking, but it is the state of a nation. What that needs a drastic change, because the more they drag the Igboman down, the more he fights to get up, the more popular he becomes, and the time is with him because he shall all die. Our seats shall continue from where we stop. So it is only a matter of time, if not in our lifetime. History and general realities have proven the Igboman to be a big blessing to the Nigerian state, and it is one of the main reasons why they have refused to entertain his request for self-determination. You then ask the big question: how long shall the continued marginalization persist? Forever? All the Igboman asks is the chance to enjoy genuine nationhood, an opportunity to be a genuine part of the Commonwealth. All Ndibo are asking is a chance to be real Nigerians, just like others. But before we go, please subscribe to our channel. Press the like button so that YouTube will notify you of our next video. Communicate and we shall surely get back to you. Spread the word. Spread the fire. We are one. One nation, one people. A new Nigeria is possible.
Ka anyị kwụsị dị too loud. Onye kpata obere ego ọ na-eme mkpọtụ. Ọ na-eme ndị mmadụ na-akpọ anyị asị.
Igboman.